Hello everybody, this is a shot of the bottom of my Harbor Freight tool chest that I did the review on in the other video. I still really dislike the casters and I'm getting ready to address that. I'll do that in a separate video, but I have about 438 pounds worth of tools in this toolbox. I actually weighed everything to see where I was at, and what I noticed is it's scary to move around, for one, because these casters are just rock hard. So I'm going to put some urethane wheels on it. But the bottom flexes like this. If you lightly rock it, you can actually watch the bottom flex. You know, and they've got reinforcement ribs here and here, but nothing going across this way. They flex a little bit this way, but not too bad. But I'm going to stiffen this thing up, and it'll just be an idea for folks if they want to do the same to theirs. I'm going to be using 3x3 by 1/4 inch angle iron because my dad gave that to me. It's too tall. I'll need to rip a piece of it off, but I'm going to go at it and see if I can make this thing work better. Alright, well, I have all the drawers taken out of it so I can get down in here and show you what I'm working with. These threaded inserts right here, these nutserts, are what the casters are mounted to, and I'm going to run a piece of angle across here. I would like to have had 4-inch angle so I could have covered this whole area between here and here, but I just need the top of the angle iron to be below this right here so nothing hits. So I'll lop that off with my bandsaw, but my plan is to drill larger holes so the angle iron will sit down over these nutserts that are sticking up. I'm going to put longer bolts in the casters, and then I'll space it down with some washers and put a nut on the top and cinch everything together. That's my goal. I'm hoping to pull this off without needing to weld anything, but I may have to. I'm not sure. I'm just working with what I have. Now these are metric nuts here as well. I don't recall the size, but I went down to the hardware store to get some, and I can buy standard fasteners by the pound, and it was going to cost me like somewhere around $8 just for the bolts themselves, metric. So I bought 5/16 bolts, and I'm going to run a tap into this netsert and rethread that so I can use standard bolts. I got 2 pounds of bolts for $4, bolts and nuts and washers and all this stuff, you know, so I can't complain about that. So I'm going to kind of step through it. I'm just winging it here, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. Just a quick shot of the fasteners. Now you can see why I went that way. I only had 5 minutes at the store, so I just grabbed fistfuls of things. You know, that's a lot of fasteners for $4 plus tax. Alright, well, I'm going to start by squaring this piece up on the bandsaw here, and then I'm going to cut 2 pieces of this 17 3/8 inches in length. These two have been cut to 17 3/8 in length, and I'm going to, from this bottom edge up, it's going to be 1.5 inches tall, and I'll run this through my vertical bandsaw and knock this off of both of them. Well, alright, these two have been taken down to 1.5 inches in height. I need to mark out my holes and drill those, and I'll make note of that. Alright, well, this is the way they're going to sit in there, and I've marked out and center punched some holes that I need to drill, starting in from both the back side. Now this will be the right from the cabinet and this will be the left. I'm coming in 13/16, 2 5/8, 14 3/8, and 16 3/16, and I'll pierce all of these holes and bore them out to a 5/8 inch diameter, and that's going to be pretty tight. I may need to take it one step up from that, but I'm going to do that now. Well, I have all my holes pierced now. I did need to open them up to a 21/32. So I cut everything really tight, so I have to get under this lip, start coming down, and work this back, and set it over the rivets just like that. So I'm hoping I can get away without having to put one across here. So what I'm going to do is remove these bolts, and I'll need to re-tap those holes. I'll drive up longer bolts, and then I'll cinch this down and see where I'm at. So I'm only going to tap out 8 right now to the 5/16. And then if I need to do these, I will. Alright, well, I'd mentioned I was going to re-tap these holes and change them from a metric thread to a imperial thread. And I'm going to do the 4 on the outsides of each one. If I try to put this 5/16 18 in here, simply won't fit. So I'm just going to re-tap the hole. Put a little tap magic on my tap. Get it started. And that's it. I'll do that to all 8 that I'm testing with. Now I can use a longer bolt to stick up in there. Looking good. Okay, well, I have my casters reinstalled now for my test. The inside bolts are still the metric bolts. The outside ones, both at the top and the bottom, have been retapped to a 5/16 bolt. The bolt that I'm using is 1 1/4 inch long. So I've put a washer and a lock washer on, and I have everything tightened up right now. Now, I have not installed and tightened up the braces that I just made, but I'm going to go ahead and try to show you the flex here. Hopefully this shows up on the camera. I'm not sure if you can see that flexing of those wheels and the bottom of the cabinet, but that's what I'm trying to get rid of. And the top does the same thing. Like I said, coming up this way, they're pretty rigid. Very, very little movement in that arena. So I'll get it stood back up, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do now to install the braces. Alright, well, the casters have been installed and tightened up, and I've put in my cross braces. I'm using 3 washers that are large enough to fit over that nut insert that is in there. And then I will use a washer that's the proper size for the bolt, a lock washer, and of course a nut. And I'll install these and tighten them all up, and then we'll test the flex on the bottom and see if anything is better. Well, it has been tightened up, and let me tell you, it is absolutely rigid right now. I'm going to try to flex these wheels in like I did before. You may see a little bit of flex, but that is in the forks. That's not in the box, so try to look in this area right here. So let me see if I can get it to move at all. I mean, that's all I've got, and I've got nothing. Trying to pull them up, same way. Absolutely no movement at all. So that's all I needed to do to stiffen this thing up, and I'm really, really pleased with it right now. Very easy to do. Simple modification. It is absolutely the best toolbox for the money that I could find. I am going to address the casters, like I said, in another video, but A simple solution to a problem if you guys have the same type of box and it rocks back and forth and kind of sways. Look underneath it while you're doing that, and I will guarantee you'll see flexing of this base moving up and down. Figure out a way to do something similar to the way I've done it, and you should have good results as well. Now, like I said, I have 438 or so pounds of stuff in this box. The average person probably would not have that much weight in here, so it may be a non-issue for you. But even professional mechanics and things of that nature, you know, I seriously doubt they'd have 430 something pounds worth of tools with just wrenches and sockets and air tools and things of that nature. So just an idea on how to stiffen up your box. This thing's going to work great now. I'd mentioned I'm going to change the casters out on this, and I'll highlight that in another clip. Hope this helps in some way. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck.